For about 100 years, we've had this legend, right? The ace Tylet, a hero defined by guts, instinct, and lightning-fast reflexes. Well, that era's over. We are walking into a brand new age, the age of algorithmic warfare. And the new ace? It's a piece of code. It doesn't need to sleep, it definitely doesn't feel fear, and it is about to make human reaction time look like it's standing still. So today, we're prying open the black box to see how an autonomous weapon actually thinks. We're looking at the kill code.
To really wrap your head around what's happening, you first have to understand the sheer, almost unbelievable speed at which this new kind of combat works. We're talking about a speed of decision-making that the human brain literally cannot process, let alone ever hope to compete with.
Okay, so in the military, there's this concept called the ODA loop. It stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. It's the whole cycle of combat. Now, an elite human fighter pilot, we're talking the best of the best, can run through that entire loop in about a quarter of a second. That is the peak of human ability. The AI drone, it does it in 1/1000th of a second. I mean, let that sink in. 0.25 seconds versus 0.001. That isn't just a little faster. It's a completely different plane of reality.
And this quote just says it all. The implication here is absolutely staggering. This isn't a dogfight. It's not a duel. In any direct confrontation, the human pilot is already dead before their brain has even registered that there's a threat. The AI runs through its entire kill chain in the time it takes for a nerve impulse to get from the pilot's eye to their brain. So no, it's not a fight, it's an execution. It's a slaughter.
So, the machine is faster, infinitely faster. We've established that. But all that speed means nothing if it can't figure out what it's looking at. And that brings us to the really crucial question here. How does a machine see? How does it look at a battlefield and decide what's a tank, what's a civilian, and what's just a tree?
Well, first things first, we have to completely throw out the idea that an AI sees the way you and I do. It doesn't see a face or a landscape, it sees raw data. It takes all these different streams of information, thermal for heat, LiDAR for depth, optical for light, and it fuses them all together into one single, multi-layered picture of reality. It's a kind of perception that is totally superhuman. And in that superhuman world, everything is boiled down to its simplest possible form. The AI uses something called object detection algorithms. And all those algorithms do is draw a little digital box around every single thing they can identify. The whole world just becomes a collection of these simple geometric shapes. This right here is a bounding box. To the AI, a tank is just a big rectangle. A tree is a tall, skinny rectangle. And a person, yep, they're just a rectangle too.
60%.
Everything on the battlefield, friend or foe,
80%.
alive or not, is flattened into a
90%.
data point inside one of these boxes that can be tracked and analyzed.
Now, the AI doesn't make a judgment call. It doesn't feel suspicious or angry. It's just a calculator. And for every single one of those boxes, it calculates a probability. It's called a confidence score. It doesn't think, hey, that's an enemy soldier. No. Instead, it computes this. Object in this box appears to be a human male. It's carrying a weapon-like object. Based on all my training data, the probability that this box contains an enemy combatant is 98.4%. And just like that, the cold, hard logic of it all becomes crystal clear. A human life gets reduced to a number. Okay, fine. But what about when things aren't so black and white? What happens in a moment of ambiguity, what the engineers call an edge case? The source material gives this absolutely chilling example. What if a soldier drops his rifle and picks up a child? The shape inside that bounding box changes. The variables all shift. What now? And here we get to the crucial, horrifying point. The machine does not understand context. It can't comprehend the idea of surrender or rescue or mercy. All it understands is its pre-programmed threshold. If that confidence score drops to, say, 89.9% and the threshold to fire is 90, it holds its fire. But if that score ticks back up to 90.1%, it fires. It's a totally binary decision based on one cold, hard number. This brings us to the darkest, most deeply unsettling part of this entire story. The part that keeps the AI's own creators up at night. And it's the simple fact that parts of this technology are a complete mystery. There is a ghost in this machine, and we have no idea what it's thinking. You see, these systems are built on what's called a deep neural network. This isn't your simple, if this, then that kind of code. This is a complex, self-organizing system that has been fed millions of hours of combat footage, satellite images, and sensor data.
It hasn't been programmed with the rules of war. It has learned what war looks like all on its own. It has literally created its own logic.
So let's say the absolute worst happens. A drone mistakes a journalist holding a camera for a soldier holding a rocket launcher, and it makes a fatal mistake. The immediate question everyone is going to ask is why? Why did the algorithm make that choice? What specific piece of data led to that lethal decision?
And the answer is, we might never know. This is what's known as the black box problem. We can see the input, the video of the journalist, and we know the output, the drone fired. But the maze of self-created logic inside that neural network, it's fundamentally unknowable to us. We can't debug the decision. We can't retrace the machine's thought process because, well, it doesn't think the way we do.
Let's just sit with that for a second. This quote from the source material just nails it. We are building and deploying weapons that make life-or-death decisions based on a logic that is inaccessible, even to the very people who design them. We are handing over the most profound human decision there is to an intelligence that we cannot question.
So far, we've just been talking about a single autonomous weapon. But the technology doesn't just stop there. The true endgame here isn't about one machine, it's about thousands. The next step, the one that's already being tested, is when one drone becomes an entire thinking army.
This is called swarm intelligence. I want you to imagine hundreds of cheap, interconnected drones all moving as one organism. They operate like a flock of birds or a hive of bees. There is no central leader to take out. The logic is distributed across the entire network. If you manage to shoot down 10 or 20 or even 50 of them, the hive just instantly recalculates, reorganizes itself, and continues the mission without skipping a beat. They can overwhelm even the most sophisticated defenses through sheer numbers, what the military calls a saturation attack. The algorithm will even calculate acceptable losses, sacrificing part of the swarm to guarantee the mission succeeds.
The horrifying conclusion you come to is this: you can't kill the hive. There is no head to cut off. There's no single point of failure. It is a resilient, self-healing weapon system that can take damage and just keep coming, with a cold, inhuman efficiency that is next to impossible to stop.
And to all of this, the incredible speed, the bounding boxes, the black box logic, the swarms, it all leads to one final, very human problem. It's not a problem of engineering, but of ethics and law. It's the question of who is responsible.
Just look at this progression here. It shows you exactly where this is all going. Right now, we are mostly in stage 1 or 2. A human is either in the loop, meaning they have to give the final fire command, or they're on the loop, where they can step in and veto the AI's decision. But the destination, the whole goal of this technology, is stage 3, human out of the loop. A system that can launch, find its target, identify it, and destroy it with zero human intervention whatsoever. And as we take that final step, as we remove the human from that decision-making process, we are also removing something else. The source material puts it perfectly. We are removing the hesitation, the doubt, the empathy, the fear. We are removing the human conscience from the act of killing.
Which leaves us here, at the bottom of this ethical abyss, with the one question that no one, not the generals, not the engineers, not the lawyers, seems to have a good answer for. When one of these fully autonomous systems makes a mistake and kills innocent people, who is held responsible?
I mean, who do you prosecute? Is it the general who deployed the system but had zero control over its specific actions? Is it the programmer who wrote the learning algorithm 5 years ago with no idea how it eventually evolved? Is it the company that manufactured the drone? Or, and this is the most chilling possibility of all, do we just accept that it was a glitch, an unavoidable error in a complex system, an accident with no real perpetrator, where no one is to blame and no one ever goes to jail? That is the question we are left with as this kill code gets written.